All right. Well, welcome. We are so glad that y'all are here with us in our Zoom into your careers. It is 3 o'clock, and our guest speaker is Randy Timms from TruGreen. Randy is a friend and a co-recruiter, a colleague recruiter of mine, and has been with TruGreen for a few years now, but a long history in corporate recruiting, truly an expert in his field, and he is going to share with us today some really innovative things that TruGreen is doing. I'm not going to steal his thunder, but in case he doesn't cover this, TruGreen is a nationwide company with a whole bunch of branches and tens of thousands of employees doing really great work, really enhancing our greatest asset, which is our homes and businesses. So with that, Randy, would you like to talk about some of your experiences and positions, of course, that you have opened and how we can join your team?
Okay, well, first of all, thanks for the opportunity. My phone has been messing up today here at the house, so it may be a problem. I've had to move around, and since I'm doing this at a laptop, I can't really move around like that. So if you can't hear me, just please let me know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hang on, let me see what it says. Okay, great. All right, so basically, TruGreen's been around since 1974. We started in Troy, Michigan, and we've had several big acquisitions over the past years. One of the big ones was Scott's Lawn, which, that company makes Scott's Miracle Grow. But I guess the thing I'm most proud of at this point with TruGreen is the fact that they have been able to really respond quickly to this pandemic we have going on. We have, for instance, we have customer service representatives across the country, and all of those people had previously gone into an office to work. So trying to get them the tools that they needed to be able to work remotely and still service customers was the utmost importance. So IT was able to get that done in a very quick order, and providing laptops for people that may not even have had internet at their homes. So that was an obstacle to overcome. I think also one of the things that makes TruGreen unique in this time is that we have lots of products. Most people think of TruGreen and they think of lawns, but we have pest control in certain areas of the country. We also have mosquito defense, which we especially need here in Memphis. And then we also have a new product that will be launching soon called Perimeter Pest, which is basically a barrier around the home. So those are things that make me confident that we are moving forward, that we're not stagnant. I think of lots of companies here that are based in Memphis, like Hilton, without hotels being able to be rented, their income is down, so they furloughed most of the people that are here in the Memphis office. So that's one good thing we have that is favorable to TruGreen. The jobs that I'm recruiting for at TruGreen are corporate jobs, IT, finance, procurement, human resources, just about any job at corporate I have had experience recruiting for, but primarily I do IT recruiting. So currently we've got 5 open jobs, and they have made hires even yesterday. So we've got a new associate starting TruGreen as an IT project manager, and that's another thing that boasts my confidence in TruGreen at this time, because while a lot of companies aren't open for business, we're not only opening, we're filling core jobs at corporate to make sure the business does not lose a beat. Some of the jobs that I have open are SolarWinds administrator. That would be someone, network administrator with SolarWinds experience. And that's honestly been a very tough job to fill, simply because we don't have a lot of local talent. So I'm looking for that one. I've also got one more IT project manager, and this IT project manager would be a senior person that had 8 to 10 years of experience. I have 2 IT business analyst positions. If anybody out there is thinking about a career in analytical jobs, those are really good jobs to have, a little bit of IT with some finance background. So those are really good paying jobs. Both of these jobs probably pay between $90,000 and $100,000 a year. So those are good jobs. I have an HR generalist job that I'm filling, as well as a cloud systems engineer. So those are just some of the jobs that are open right now that I'm recruiting for here. We have another corporate recruiter that wasn't able to be on the call today, but he does a lot of finance jobs and marketing jobs. So there's a lot of activity out there right now. We did have to postpone some jobs until Q3 or 4, as well as moving some to 2021. And then for jobs that were not absolutely necessary, we actually closed those jobs. So there's some activity here, and we're busy sourcing and trying to find those candidates. One of the good things about the current situation is that TruGreen was able to be approved as an essential business, which gives us the right and the ability to continue business and generating sales. So that in itself was another challenge with sales. TruGreen still uses the door-to-door method where they go and knock on doors. So obviously in this COVID environment, they were not able to do that. So there's also been some quick work to make alternative ways to get those sales. I guess that's really basically what I've got right now. Do you have any questions for me?
Randy, it's Amy. I want you to talk a little bit more about some other innovative things that you all are doing. I recently that you've got some solar type positions that are open. Tell us more about that.
I'm sorry, what was that? Some what type positions?
Solar.
Oh, okay. SolarWinds?
Yes.
Okay. SolarWinds is a tool that it's a pretty new tool that IT uses. It's basically an environment, and the tools are actually, like I said, they're very new. So finding people with the right experience is challenging, to say the least. If anybody that's on the call wants to look into IT jobs that are, hot right now, there are jobs like SolarWinds is a new technology. So those would be good ways to, if you're going in that route in IT, you're basically doing a network rather than software infrastructure. But that would be an excellent thing to look into, as well as looking into any new technologies that's coming out. So if you're interested in a career in IT, I would highly recommend you staying up on the latest technologies and, trying to get in on the ground floor of that, because some technologies come and go, but for the most part, companies latch on to those and they become very popular. So the jobs would be probably paid pretty well. I know this job that I'm recruiting for is probably going to pay between $100,000 and $110,000 a year. But it does require some experience, and again, that's been the challenge. Is that I see people that may have SolarWinds on their resume, but when you actually talk to them, they haven't actually done the administration of that, nor do they have enough time. So those are things that wouldn't necessarily be an entry-level job.
Thank you. We have a number of other questions from students that are coming in. The HR general positions that you referred to, are those online? Are those on your corporate website?
I believe that one is. We are in probably second round interviews, so I'm sure that we'll have be able to make a job offer for that one. Typically, TruGreen tries to hire from within, so internal candidates are given an opportunity to apply for those jobs and interview. Sometimes before we would offer interviews to external candidates. So while that may be a disappointment to people outside of TruGreen, once you're in, it's really kind of nice to know that you can advance in the company.
Very good. Thank you. And do you
Yeah,
recommend the best way to apply for your positions is through your corporate site, or how do you recommend applying?
I do. So just a little bit of history about the way I recruit. When I get a job um, assignment, I typically will go out there and put it on a social site like LinkedIn or ZipRecruiter or Indeed. So that way I can start seeing the resumes coming in before we get there through the recruiter on our website. Those places, and that gives me the ability to filter through those. One thing about recruiting now versus is that it takes no time to click a button and apply for a job. So we're inundated with resumes. I would say probably 80% of the resumes that I see, I need to the people who apply for. So, you're able to filter through those, and then when the job requisition opens, then I will contact people and have them. But that's a great way to directly apply to the TruGreen job and go to our career site.
Very good. Thank you. Randy, you were breaking up just a little bit, so I want to make sure that, yes.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So you talked about the Solar Winds experience. What other kind of IT, whether they be languages or things do you look for in your IT roles? It sounds like you have a number of those.
Right. Well, so for somebody that would be interested in a job to have a career as an IT analyst or an IT business analyst, you would have really, really strong skills with Excel, and it never hurts to have some experience with SQL. So those are basic building blocks for a pretty solid career. When I interview people, I ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say your Excel skills are? Everybody says, oh, probably 6 or 7. Well, the truth is that there's so much to know in Excel that through those questions, I can determine that that person doesn't really know that much. They may know a lot compared to someone else, but they really don't know as much as you would need to know. So, and I would say that in interviewing people for software developer jobs, one of my favorite questions to ask is, do you like puzzles? Because people with that skill set either have a passion for it or they don't. It's really quick. You can find out pretty quick by asking the right questions of where they are. Maybe they got a computer science degree in college, but they really don't have a passion for it. Maybe they just picked the major. So, I'm looking for people that have a passion for it, and convince a lot of managers at TruGreen to hire people straight out of college, passion, and have a true love for any one of those skills. And I'll just in there, last September, several members from TruGreen, including myself, went to UT Knoxville and were a part of a big career fair there. And while we talked to probably 70 people while we were there, we actually made up hires. So one of the girls that we talked to was from Memphis, graduated from high school here, and then went to college at UT. So she had a job offer before she even walked across for graduation. So that was very rewarding, and I always throw that out there to say that you never know who you're going to meet.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Thank you. A few more questions. How does TruGreen utilize data analytics? We have a student on here who's interested in data analysis, visualization, etc.
Well, before I started at TruGreen, I had no idea how data comes into the company. And so data is only as good as how you can use it. So we had a lot of data coming in and we weren't really able to figure out a good way to use that data. So there's been a switch. We basically recently moved from Tableau to Microsoft Power BI. That was a big move for us because everything had been done in Tableau before. So I would say that basic skills, Excel, any kind of tool like that you can come in would really benefit you in any analytical job. So as for moving forward and using that data more effectively, we've created new tools through different apps to allow us to get data and be able to use that data to tell us what we want to know. There's a lot of data out there for, chemical consumption over concerns. There's just a lot of really neat things that are happening now at TruGreen based on the need to have more analytics regarding the data and what data needs to be used.
Very good. Thank you. Again, we're hearing kind of an in and out on the audio.
Yeah, I could actually step away from the computer if that's better, because I'll have to find a spot in the house. But it's happened this week for some reason, and I'm on the screen.
That's okay. That was better, actually. Thank you. So speaking of data and analytics, and you may not be able to answer this, but if you can, so tell us how, yeah, that's great, Randy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tell us how, so when you go into innovative lines like mosquito and things like that, is it based on data, based on disease, or just a perceived need, or how do you make things on your new innovations?
Well, I'm not sure if you're hearing me exactly, but because I'm in a different place, it's kind of hearing me now.
Oh, it's actually not any better. Sorry.
It's not better. Okay, hang on.
No.
No, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Is this any better?
It's a little bit better.
Okay. So the question was about the data. Are you saying that you're asking if when we go to a customer's house, how that we determine what we'll need to cover that yard, or what?
No, I'm talking more broadly. So you had mentioned your mosquito line that you all have innovated. Is that based off of data of either disease or just a perceived niche that customers have?
Yeah, so I guess a lot of it's common sense here in the South. We just learned to live with mosquitoes, so a lot of data about certain areas of South, cities near water like we are.
Randy, we're losing you.
I'm sorry. Is this better?
No, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do. I thought I could connect on the computer and use that audio, but I wasn't able to do that.
That's okay.
Can you hear? Is it better?
About the same.
Uh-huh. I don't know. I can't make it any better.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Very good. Well, let me see if there's any additional questions that have come up. Yeah, I'm going to turn, somebody suggested turning off your video for a better audio signal. Here we go. Yeah, if you want to even turn off your video, Randy, I think we could probably finish up by audio. And I think my last question is, what advice would you have in this, pretty competitive, tough environment?
Are you talking about the current state or just in general?
Yes, sir. Current state. What advice would you?
Well, I mean, if you're looking for jobs, I would look for companies that are open and considered essential businesses. Who knows what's going to happen with all the fallout after this? I mean, companies have just been surviving, being able to stay in business. So I would look for somebody that's making sales, that they've got revenue coming in, and there's a future. And I think you can get a good feel for that based on jobs that are posted. So companies that aren't doing anything right now, like Hilton, they're not going to be hiring anybody. And so I would be looking for those kind of jobs. And I would look for stability. I mean, TruGreen's been around a long time and gone through a lot of different transitions. So, you know, if it were me, I would be looking for something that I thought it would be around in 5 years.
Very good, very good. And essential services is what I'm also hearing you say.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's I guess when you think about it, without pest control, I've been reading a lot about rat problems across the United States because rats basically survive on trash cans outside of restaurants, and they haven't had that. So that needs to be something that's dealt with proactively rather than waiting.
Very good. Thank you. Are there any last questions? Randy, we so appreciate your time. The audio is much better, so I'm glad we made that transition. Sorry for the visual for for the others, but I think that's just perfect.
I'm sorry.
No, you are fine. We are just so grateful for your attendance today, and thank you for everybody being on the line. This has been recorded. In the event you want to share it, again, I can fully support TruGreen and what they're doing. Their corporate culture is amazing. Having worked with the parent company of TruGreen years ago, I can tell you it's very much a family environment. Randy might agree with me. It's just some really great folks. So thank you again for your time, Randy. Thank you for all of our participants and your questions. Have a great afternoon. Our next session, we'll take about a 30-minute break. Our next session starts at 4 p.m. We hope you'll